to my brain, my heart, sports talk with Mike. Did you have Harvard winning yesterday? No? I did. And my bracket is looking sweet. I tell you this because I feel good about that. But it's not what today's episode is about. Nope. With only 10 days to go before the opening day in Major League Baseball, I figure today is the best day to start the breakdown of each division with my predictions and my opinions. And if you don't care about my opinions, then keep watching and I don't care. So, with that, I'm going to start with the AL East because they hold the only Canadian team in Major League Baseball. Go figure. So, we'll start with the Toronto Blue Jays. They finished 73 and 89 last season. Good for 4th in the division. But they made some big acquisitions. They brought in, with trades of course, Jose Reyes, Mark Buehrle, Josh Johnson, and R.A. Dickey. They lost a lot of young talent though, which might hurt them in the long run. I mean, we got older guys with R.A. Dickey and Mark Buehrle, so we'll see how it plays out. Other than that though, it looks pretty good. They also brought in a steroid list, Melky Cabrera. We'll see what he can do. The rotation is well rounded. At the top are Dickey, Josh Johnson, Brendan Morrow, and Mark Buehrle. Ricky Romero is going to be their soft spot. He's not going to get back to the form of 2 years ago. It's unfortunate, but it's not going to happen, and he's going to be the down. This is going to be it. This year is going to be the last hurrah for Ricky Romero and the Toronto Blue Jays. The bullpen, it's thin. It's really they got Sergio Santos. He'll be a good closer, but when he's bad, he's awful, and that's where it's going to be a hard go for the Blue Jays. That's where they got to really pick up the runs. So the lineup, they got Reyes and Cabrera up at the top of the order. That's going to create that spark. Jose Bautista, hopefully he stays healthy. And Edwin Encarnacion looks like he's going to continue on his path. The question marks start with Brett Lowry, JP Arencibia, Kobe Rasmus, and Adam Lind. When they're hot, they are hot. Wow. But when they're cold, they're really can't see someone get any worse. And Brett Lowry, he's going to be injury plagued for his entire career anyway because he's just a go kind of guy. He actually should be playing hockey, not baseball. But I mean, with that being said, they're going to finish with the wild card spot, second in their division, and probably go to the ALCS championship. It's not too bad for the Blue Jays, who just continuously miss the playoffs. Next up, the aging, the down the hill, ain't turning back New York Yankees. They finished last season 95 and 67, first in their division. They picked up Kevin Youkilis and Travis Hafner, but they lost Raul Ibanez, Nick Swisher, and Russell Martin. Now, the rotation is, how do I put this? Very experienced with CC Sabathia, Andy Pettit, and the third guy, who's that again? Oh yeah, Hiroki Kuroda. Hiroki Kuroda, I like that guy. But when you get experience by playing a long time in the majors. And they're now coming closer to the end of the careers. Pettit's old, he's like 40. So injuries are going to happen. They're going to lose a couple miles per hour. They're going to lose command. We'll see. And that's going to be hard. But they got Nova and Hughes, the two young guys that are going to stick it to the old guys to show them how to play some baseball. And they're going to have a very amazing bullpen only with the closer, Mariano Rivera. It being his last season in the major leagues. He's going to put up the best season of his career. They got David Robertson and Jabba Chamberlain. They should be future starters for the Yankees coming up. I mean, like I said, old guys in the rotation. But other than that, their bullpen looks very weak. And that's going to be their soft spot. So all you got to do is get to the bullpen and bam. I mean, the Yankees, they're getting old. And they got injuries in the field, Alex Rodriguez and Mark Teixeira. They brought in Travis Hafner and Kevin Youkilis and Brendan Boesch to kind of fill in for them, but they're not going to do exactly what needs to be done. They're not enough. And Rodriguez sticks here though for a long period of time, so it's going to be hard for them. Their outfield looks very good defensively with Suzuki, Rivera, and Gardner, but in the box they're not going to really put up a lot of offensive needs that New York is going to need. Robinson Cano is going to be their best player, and Derek Jeter, you're getting old, and it's coming to an end for him, unfortunately. And with that being said, last thing actually, Chris Stewart, you're behind the plate and you're not good. New York, they're going to finish out of the playoffs in fourth in their division. Next up, the surprising Baltimore Orioles. They finished second in the division with a 93-69 record last season. They didn't upgrade at all, and they lost Jim Thome, Mark Reynolds, Ennis Chavez, Joe Saunders, and Randy Wolf, so a lot of leadership and experience. The rotation, not good at all, so not good. They got Josh Jurgens from the Atlanta Braves, who was amazing up until the All-Star break, but after that, he was just brutal. Like one of the worst pitchers in baseball. So if he can stick to the pre-All-Star form, then he'll do good, but that doesn't help Baltimore all that well. I mean, their bullpen was fantastic last season, and that's the thing. With a shitty rotation, a lot of workload and pressure on the bullpen, and eventually they're going to snap, and it's going to fade away for them. For their lineup, maybe Brian Roberts gets back to the days when he was playing good. Who else they got? The healthy Nick Markakis, defensively with Adam Jones and Matt Wieters. See what happens with those two guys. Maybe they can add more pop than they already have. Manny Machado, full year from him, but really it's not a team that you can rely on. They won a lot of games and extra innings last season, and that's not going to be enough for them, especially with their bullpen being so weak. They're going to finish 5th in their division out of the playoffs. It's going to be a bad year for Baltimore. And another woeful Boston Red Sox, the worst season ever for Boston last season. 69-93, 5th in the division. They brought in Ryan Dempster, Uehara, and Joel Hanrahan for their pitching staff. Mike Napoli, Stephen Drew for batting, and they didn't lose much, so that's kind of good. They lost Cody Ross, who wasn't too bad for them, but he can be replaced. On top of the rotation, workhorses. They got John Lester, Clay Buchholz, and Ryan Dempster. John Lackey is lacking in every aspect of a pitching type player. He doesn't have it anymore, and it's going to be the end of him as well. He'll probably end up retiring because he just doesn't have it. That's going to hurt Boston. The bullpen is amazing. Joel Hanrahan is going to close out games for them. The former closer in Oakland, Andrew Bailey, and Uehara. They're going to do a lot of good things in their bullpen. They're going to be top 5 in the league. They got Jacoby Ellsbury, who's going to bring his MVP numbers. The Flying Hawaiian is going to bring back his game. Dustin Pedroia and David Ortiz, they're going to continue their path. They're going to do their thing, right? But the left side with Stephen Drew, Will Middlebrooks, and Johnny Gomes in left field, they're going to cause a lot of errors. They're going to really cost Boston a lot of games. They're not going to be as bad as they were last year. They're going to finish 3rd in the division. So that's looking up, and we'll see what happens. All right. Last but not least, the Tampa Bay Rays. Oh, I just actually wanted to bring up one more quick fact. You got John Farrell as the bench boss there in Boston, and I think he is going to help them get to the playoffs, not this season, but next season. No matter what team they put on the field, I think he's a smart guy. Toronto last season, they were underachieving, injury plagued, so but I think he'll do good. So back to the Tampa Bay Rays. 3rd in the AL East with a 90-72 record last season. They picked up a lot of young talent in trades. They got Yunel Escobar and Kelly Johnson, former Blue Jays, but they lost James Shields, Wade Davis, B.J. Upton, Jeff Keppinger, and Carlos Pena. So that's really going to hurt them. They got the Cy Young Award winner and David Price. They got Hellickson. That's going to be a hell of a 1-2 punch. They got Matt Moore, probably fit in that 3rd slot. And the bottom 2 in the rotation, that's up for grabs. Their bullpen is amazing. Fernando Rodney, Peralta, It just, and then they just added the former Fausto Carmona. These Roberto Hernandez is his name. That whole thing. I think that's interesting when they forge documents and stuff like that. It's just ridiculous. Why do that? Whatever. So anyway, but I think he's a good pitcher anyway, and I think he'll help their bullpen. He's just going to make it more solid, and they're going to be tops in the league, hands down. Their defense and bullpen will be the only two assets that will get them to the playoffs. They got Evan Longoria and Ben Zobrist batting for them. They got other talent too. The only problem is that it's not enough. Not experience, they're not clutch. They got to focus a lot with Zobrist and Longoria, but that's why they got the bullpen and their defense. Joe Maddon, he emphasizes defense, and I like it. And bullpen, defense and bullpen is what wins the World Series. That's it. Will they win the World Series this year? No, but they'll finish first in the division. Probably lose in the divisional round, but it's looking good for them, and they got that young talent coming up. So there you have it. I got finished from the AL East. It's going to be the Tampa Bay Rays, then the Toronto Blue Jays, then the Boston Red Sox, New York Yankees, and the Baltimore Orioles. And that's my predictions. That's my opinions. That's what I feel is going to happen. If you think I'm right, go ahead and tell me. It's not going to boost my ego. I already have a big head anyway. If you don't agree with me, I want you to tell me, because I don't believe you're right at all. I believe I'm right. So I'm going to go watch some basketball, March Madness, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode of My Brain, My Heart, Sports Talk with Mike. Hell yeah.